I've taken out a buy-to-let mortgage for an auction property. Rather than just a lick of paint, I've decided to remodel it slightly. I don't know how long this will take, maybe 3 to 4 months. The buy-to-let mortgage I got was portable, so could I, when the refurb is complete, get rental and sale valuations or quotes and make a decision whether to rent or sell then? Or will I have done something wrong by having a buy-to-let mortgage but never actually renting it out? Please help, I'm confused.
Okay, there's a few things to consider there. A buy-to-let mortgage is for the purpose of letting the property. So by taking that mortgage, you are essentially saying to the lender that you're going to let it, because the reason they've given you that mortgage is they're comfortable with the rent the property is generating to actually service it.
Yeah.
So you technically are doing something wrong by not letting it straight away. If you were going into getting the mortgage with that intent, then you really should tell the lender that. And there are specific products available for that purpose. Some lenders
mean for the purpose of not
for the
being
purpose
sure
of renovating.
Right, okay,
yeah, some lenders might be okay with it on a buy-to-let basis, others won't.
Okay.
You could go for bridging finance, which will be more expensive, but it is for the purpose of properties that aren't ready to let.
Right, okay.
The other thing to consider is if you do that and you get away with it with your current lender, and you're not tell them or tell them, and it gets to the point of wanting to perhaps remortgage or sell, you won't have any letting history. So
Right,
they will
yeah.
ask to see the short tenancy agreements, the AST, and see that it's been let. And if it hasn't, then they're going to want to know why.
Right.
And that could cause you issues. So I'd say, depending on whether they've actually taken that mortgage yet or not, if that's their intention, then just be honest about it. Get advice from an independent broker on what the most suitable product is for that purpose, and go down that path.
And where they say they are doing the refurb or slightly remodelling it, does that matter that they haven't told their lender about those refurbishments?
Well, if it's not being let and it is on a standard buy-to-let and the lender thinks there's a tenant in there, then potentially yes, that could cause a problem.
Okay.
Because of course, the way that lenders look at the serviceability of a buy-to-let mortgage is the rent that's going to service it.
Yeah.
It's far less about the actual individual's situation. So that could cause them problems depending on the lender and the product they've gone for.
And do you think that in this case, when they decide, to sell it, or if they decide to sell it, it would be worth changing the mortgage before that?
Well, that's another thing to think about, is a buy-to-let mortgage is given on the purpose of being quite long-term. Usually it's at least a 10-year term. Now, if you're buying and selling properties all the time with buy-to-let mortgages, you'll soon get blacklisted by lenders, because they aren't going into it for the purpose of lending to you for a year or 2 or 6 months. That's what short-term finance is for. So if you're doing that all the time, it's not going to go on for very long.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Just one question on thinking about that. On the it's 2 types of lending, isn't there? The short-term and long-term. Is there still, on the buy-to-let mortgages, would there still be redemption fees to pay if people pay that off?
There'll be entry and exit fees.
Fine, okay.
So you pay arrangement fees, and you generally, depending on the mortgage and the length of the initial term, pay an exit fee as well, especially if it's fixed. It'd be a higher fee, but even when it's not fixed, usually there's a 2 or 3 year minimum term.
Right, okay. So it's kind of like you're going to get stung one way or another.
Yeah, either before or at the end.
That's
It's probably not a very cost-effective way of doing it. No. Although the interest rate might be a bit lower, you might find that other types of finance might be more cost-effective in the long run.
So basically just be upfront in the first place, really.
Seek advice and use the product that's fit for purpose.
Absolutely. Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much, Paul.